Well, first, homecoming, we're excited about that. I think it was 2 years ago. We had Toledo here, 2016. I've said this a couple times, but when the buses pulled up, it was the first time where, literally, the parking lot, all of them were full. And it was just awesome atmosphere. Remember my wife later that night said I got caught in Eastern Michigan football traffic. It was just a great day in terms of the support that was here and the environment, and it was really good last year. And so we're super excited about alumni and community coming out and supporting the Eagles. We played well last week, in terms of the Ball State game. Our challenge was to play well, to go 1-0 after a solid victory over Toledo. We're pretty good at bouncing back, in tough times, but the 2018 challenge, even back in the spring, to the seniors and eventually to the team was, how can we really respond well when things have gone our way? And, when you look back at the week, the 4-game, close losses, we beat Toledo at home. Ball State come from behind victory, at Central Michigan. It's their homecoming. They're 2-1 in the MAC. We knew we were going to get their best effort. And our guys on sort of a weird day with just the weather and our travel and, all of that really, played well. So super proud of them. Far from perfect. Offensively, defensively, and special teams, we turn the film on and our guys see it. There's little things that we just absolutely have to get better at. But I think everybody's excited about doing that. And so it was a good week and a good weekend.
You mentioned the weather conditions, gusts up to 46 miles an hour at one point. What does that do to affect a game plan, knowing that you can't always just chuck it deep because the ball's going to get caught up in the wind, or for Ball State's example, the PAT almost blew back through the goalpost.
Yeah, so the wind first affects the kicking game, in the specialist. So, even a slight breeze can matter on kickoffs. And, if the wind's at your back on a punt, the ball can sail. And if you don't hit a spiral going into even just a gentle breeze, it can dramatically impact it. So the real question, though, is when does it affect, the offense and, the quarterbacks and the passing game? And this definitely did it. To answer your question, it really got complicated because, we had the two guys out for the first half in targeting, and we wanted to kind of gain a possession, and so we were going to take the ball. But then by doing that, you're going against the wind if the wind's going a certain direction in the beginning of the game, and when it's blowing that strong, that can be a tough recipe. So the fact that our offense, even though we didn't score, moved it all the way down to the 24 and flipped the field position and ate some clock was a pretty big deal in that first drive. But the wind was a factor, there's no question.
You look at it, Tyler gets the start, but you do get a few other quarterbacks in, and also just guys in general. How much of a luxury is it in those situations to get guys who you probably like to get in game action to finally see game activity because of the score differential?
Well, for all kinds of reasons, it's a good thing. Just not that, our morale's great, but guys who just haven't been able to get to play, so everyone's excited for them. And then obviously just the development, of the program and of those younger guys or those backups that, could still be seeing, game action later in the year. They're getting an opportunity. At that point, there's 5 games left with the whole redshirt rule. Now there's 4, and so that, throws another factor into that equation as well.
Tyler gets the Player of the Week honors, but he could not have done it without your offensive line. And you've gone 7 weeks with pretty much them playing straight through. You had to really play the puzzle game with your offensive line, with injuries and just situations beyond your control.
Our offensive line's a tough group now. Everybody's beat up at this point. We haven't had a bye, but it's a tough group of guys, and they did do a really nice job on Saturday, giving Tyler some protection, and we were able to run the ball as well. And Tyler took advantage of taking what people gave him, and he's so accurate, and he's so bright, and again so steady and composed. You really see things well, and our guys ran good routes, threw the ball on time, and you get a real efficient day that way. And proud of them.
Even with the offensive efficiency, you still possess the ball for almost 37 minutes. That certainly hurts the other team because they know they are up against the wall when they're not going to get the ball back. And that's kind of a similar situation with a team you're going to face on the opposite side this weekend, a team that just churns out clock.
So I think probably more than anything was a combination of our defense taking the ball away twice in critical times, and then we were converting on third down. They were 8 for 16. So again, not perfect, but better than we'd been, and moving those chains. And again, just a real ball control offense. We weren't throwing the ball deep downfield and whatnot. And I was a little surprised at the time of possession at the end, but I guess when you think about it and put it all together, it made a little bit more sense.
You play Army in this contest for the third time or fourth time in your tenure. What have you learned from the previous matchups?
This will be my third. I've learned that they're a tough out, that they're incredibly well coached. So Coach Monken, the 15 game, neither of our teams, were as competitive as we'd like. And it was a good game. They got away from us there late, but it was a pretty good game through 3 quarters. And obviously they were a really, really good team last year, I think 10 wins or so. And they're on track for that again. We were 4 inches short, went for 2 and in a great football game. And Ian made an unbelievable effort at the goal line, and their safety, unbelievable effort, on the 3. And Ian was in the air for 2 yards, 2 feet, and 8 inches. So they're very well coached. They're tough. They just play so incredibly hard. And then, I think that everybody understands that, with their offensive philosophy, that it's a huge challenge for the defense and one that we work year-round on. But it affects the entire game. It affects our offense. It affects our special teams. We both shared 8 total possessions, 8 each last year, which I think we're averaging 13 possessions a game right now. And so that's where, obviously it affects the entire team. There's that balance between hey, we got to do something with the ball when we get it, but then also being relaxed and just executing your offense. Defensively, normally when you get a team to 4th down, it's a 3-down game, and essentially this is a 4-down game, which just changes it. You feel as though you've done what you're supposed to do, and you're not done yet. And then they've got a history of faking kicks as well. So they do everything they can. When they played here in 15, they went down, scored on the first drive, and went for 2 to go up 8, just to throw a little kink in your thinking process about how you're gonna play out the rest of that game. So it affects every or the whole game, their offense, and it's we played them pretty well last year, and just again came up 4 inches short.
I know you jokingly at one point early in the year said the first play of the game is going to be a 2-point conversion try again, but do you put yourself back in that what-if situation? If you get in there, do you try to make that same decision?
You always got to see, how the flow of the game is going. You can make, and we do, we meet as coordinators on Thursday and we talk through all those scenarios and just collectively as a group, do we go for 2 to win? Do we try to take something to overtime? How, where do we feel comfortable? But then you always got to, go with the feel of the game. I don't regret at all going for it. It was the right decision for us. I just watched the Miami game last night, and I think that was absolutely the right decision by Miami to go for 2 to try to win it. And they came up short as well. But I know it's easy to evaluate decisions on result, but I don't think that's the way you evaluate decisions.
We talk a lot about going 1-0 every week, but we had talked about the struggles that we had after success, that how do we use the success to move into the next week and be successful. Last week you did it. You went 1-0 against Toledo, and you went 1-0 against Ball State. What has changed in the mindset, and how are you going to use that to try to go 1-0 again against Army?
Well, I think part of it is that you don't want to change the mindset. Yeah, I think that can be the difficulty in it. When you feel differently, when you're feeling better, how do you have that same mindset? How do you, when those 24 hours are over, how do you make yourself, stop feeling good about what's happened and to get right back in the process of starting over and starting to prepare? And so, that's what we've had, unfortunately, less practice at doing that. But I think the guys did that, well last week, and we've got to do it even better again this week.